as much as possible. Please join me as we make welcome our guest speaker this morning, Pastor Mrs. Helyn Nosa.
Good morning, church.
Good morning.
So there's your pastor has laid a foundation for me. I have to meet up to that expectation. Praise God. I just want to give God the glory for the opportunity to minister to you. I just want to also thank your pastor as well. We've been talking since, is it March or April? It's been a long, long time. We've been talking, we've been on the text message, telephone. And I'm so pleased to be here this morning. My husband is here and my son is here, and he came with his friend. I just said to him, I'm minister today, will you come? And he even got here before me, so thank you very much. Looking at your program for this month, and it's been a blessing. Just looking at the topic, I think last week you were dealing with principles of financial increase. Before I start, let me see how many people have their notepad and pen here. Pastor, next time, next Sunday, if they don't come with their notepad and pen, buy some, put here, and charge them triple. They charge for it. You are in a university. The house of God is a university. Nobody goes to school without pen and paper. If you come in to just listen, you can only remember how many percentage for those who are psychology students. How much can you retain when you just listen? Not much. But if we are talking about finances and financial management and wealth, there is a lot of studying to do, there's a lot of reading to do, and there's a lot of practical things to do. You have principles of financial increase. So when you're talking about increase, invariably it means that there is something there, because you can't increase nothing. Nothing increase. If you increase nothing to nothing, it is nothing. Okay, so there is something to increase. And today I'm talking about managing and growing your finances, and exactly the same thing. There has to be something there for you to manage. Okay? And then the next one, I think you're going to the right attitude to money and how the rich get richer. So today, I think you have a complete circle here. Because you're dealing with finances throughout the month, for you to make a complete circle, and it's okay, if you want it, if you want the slide or that picture, I can send it to you guys later, or the church can print it out. So it starts with there is a first step, just like a business person or a child who is working, who is learning to walk. You start with one simple step, but you don't stop at that step. You have to take it forward. That's the way finances is. That's the way wealth is. Anything you do in life, there is the baby step. And you move on from that baby step to the next one. That's the only way you can make it. So I'll just read through so that those who can't see it, you can write it down. At the moment, I have 12 steps here that make the complete circle. The first one is your career. When you're talking about income or finances, there has to be a source. There has to be a place where you generate it. And it could be your career, it could be your business, whatever it is, could be your interest. So that is your source of income. The next one, when you've earned the income, you have to budget it. So there's budgeting, number 2. Number 3, savings. Number 4, consumer debt and borrowing. Number 5, tax laws. Number 6, reserves, emergency funds. What number was that? 7, retirement planning. 8, financial planning. 9, estate planning and taxation. 10, asset protection. 11, wealth, personal balance sheet. And then the 12th one is financial risk management. So when you talk about people who are wealthy, you talk about business people who are successful, they have to go through the steps. And by the time they get to number 12, they start all over again, the review. So today, I'm going to be reading an extract from my book called Beyond the Lean Years, Life After the Credit Crunch. If you Google Helyn Nosa, Helyn, if you want the book, you can get it from Amazon, okay? But I'm going to be talking about managing finance. I don't know how you guys work with Bible reading yet. Do you have readers? You have readers?
I can read.
Okay. I've got a few passages that I will use to lay the foundation. I start with Matthew chapter 25. And I will just read somebody can help me. I will need somebody to read. Matthew 25, 16 and 17. It is the very popular parable of Jesus when he was talking about the 3 servants that the master gave talents to. Please now.
Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2.
Thank you. That's 17. Okay. It says, we all know the passage, we all know the story. The man was going to go, the master was traveling, and he called his 3 servants, and he gave them talents. There is something that a lot of us miss out in that story. The master did not tell them what to do. He did not say trade, he did not say save, he did not say anything. And there was no opportunity for them to ask any questions because he said immediately he left. And sometimes, or in most cases, that's what happens to us. God has set us up, left us here, not without support, or not even like the master who left immediately. God is always with us. He's giving us talent. And see what happened. The one that had 5, what did he do? He traded with it, and it became 10. The one that had 4 became, the one that had 2, he traded with it, it became 4. And then the one that had 1, what happened to it? He buried it. And what was the report? When the master came back, he said, "You wicked." And when I read that, I said, he didn't steal, he didn't throw the money away, he didn't kill anybody, he just preserved it. And you still call him wicked. He didn't depreciate. The master gave him 1 talent, and he gave the 1 talent back to the master. And he still called him wicked. That's number 1. Number 2 lesson. What happened to those who managed to increase their talents? What happened?
They got more.
They got more. Look at it. The master gave them the talent. He didn't tell them what to do, and he didn't tell them what he was going to do. I was expecting him to come back and say, "Okay, I gave you 5. It's now 10. Give me back my capital. You keep the profit." Is that not what would have happened? But what did the master do? You keep the rest. And he even gave him more. You get that? Yeah. They kept both the capital and the profit. Sometimes when God asks us to do something, or when we are asked to do anything, we do it grudgingly, not knowing the outcome. Because at the end of the day, you get the blessing. So if you don't do it, what happened? You'll be like the wicked servant, and God will say, "You wicked. I spend my time creating you with all these talents and blessings. All you want to do is sit on it and whinge. So you gave that person 5, you are giving me 1. How dare you bury it?" And he took it from him. So you talked about this, why the rich get richer. Sorry, I'm going to be stealing some of your points from next Sunday or Sunday after. The rich get richer because they behave like the one who had the 5. They don't know what it's going to be. Like the Bible said in Proverbs, it said you just sow. Whether in the morning, or in the evening, or in the afternoon. Just sow. Because you don't know which one is going to produce something. And if you are waiting for the atmosphere to be right, especially if you live in Manchester, it's always raining. How can I do anything in this rain? And you go to the sunshine and say, it's so sunny. I'm tired. If you are waiting for the right moment, it will never come. You want somebody, you pray and pray. I remember in my early days in our marriage, when there's anything happening in this family, my husband would say, let's go and pray. No, he would say, do something. I'll say, no, I want to go and pray. So, okay, he will give me time to pray. So when I come back, say, okay, you've prayed. Say, what did the Lord say? I said, was he supposed to say something? Because that was my get out clause. He didn't know that my prayer, say I was going to pray, was my get out clause. I wasn't going to do anything. Really? Do you know that's what most of us do? That's what Christians do. There's something to be done. They say, oh, let's pray. Okay, you have prayed. What did the Lord say? Some of you have been praying for a year, 2 years. What is the Lord saying to you to do? You say, no, he hasn't said. He hasn't, no, you're deaf. Because he has spoken. He said to Daniel, from the first day you set your heart to pray, the answers had already come. It's just that sometimes what the Lord is saying, you don't want to know. That's not what you want to hear. Most of us will want results. But if you go to Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, that is the foundation of any wealth creation. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to be prosperous, my sister, if you can read that for me.
While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease.
Praise the Lord. Please read the first line.
While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest.
Thank you. Which one came first?
Seed time.
It's the seed, not the harvest. But we live in a Western culture where you want the harvest first. You don't want the seed. It takes too long for the seed to grow. But if you are talking about financial empowerment, there is no magic. God is not the magician. He's not going to wave his magic wand and say, you have £1 million today. I know there are places where they preach, they say you pray, you put something in a place and you fast, and the next day there will be so much money in your account. That is if you take that money to go and buy anything, they might arrest you because it might be a counterfeit money. And also anti-money laundering as well. Do you understand? God has said in his word, seed time and harvest time, it will not cease. So you have to prepare to sow your seed. If you don't want to sow any seed and you want a tree, it won't happen. It won't happen. The next one is Matthew chapter 20, verses 9 to 15. I will tie all this together. Matthew 29. If anybody gets it, just read it. It's the story of the guy that had a vineyard. He went hiring people. He started in the morning. And he said to the people he got in the morning, I'm going to pay you, he said, let me get one dinner, he said, but let me just say, I'm going to pay you £20. That's what he said to them in the morning. And they were quite happy to accept it. Then midday, he went and he got more. He still said exactly the same thing to those people. They were supposed to finish at 5 o'clock. So at 4 or 4:30, he went and got some more. And said to them, I will pay you £20. Really? Did you get that? Yeah. The people who started work at 9 a.m., he will pay them £20. Not £20 an hour, £20 flat. And then those who worked at 4:30, who started at 4:30, £20. Is there justice in there?
No.
That's the way you look at it. Because God is not a God of, he's not in time. He's not, time does not constrain him. He can do whatever he likes. So if you are waiting, oh, it's already half an hour, it's only half an hour to go, there's no point. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is time, there's always time. It's never too late while you are breathing. You might think, oh, I'm 50 years old. What am I going to start now? He collected people at 4:30 and he still paid them £20 an hour or £20. The people that started at 9, it was still £20. What is your own problem in that? He has given you the ability. Why don't you just use it? You might say, oh, it will work, it might not work. You remember the story of Elijah when he was trying to call down the rain after 3.5 years. How many times did he send the servant to go and watch and see whether there was cloud? How many of you will carry on beyond 2? That is Elijah. That is Elijah. The man that raised people from the dead, that did so many wonderful things. And he still had to persist. And you haven't got time to persist and you want results, it doesn't happen. Your team, your leadership here, they have put together this wonderful program. Don't let it pass you by. Don't just come and be hearers alone, because there will be no miracle. Miracle will not happen in vacuum. When the mother of Jesus said to the servants at the wedding in Canaan, he said, whatever he asks you to do, just do it. And Jesus said, pour water into he said, we've run out of wine. They're asking for water. I know in those days it's grapes. It's grape that they used. I think that's what they still use. And it has to go through a period of fermentation or whatever. I'm not a scientist, so don't hold me to anything I say regarding that. But wine you don't do it overnight. That's why you have those who are into wine in the wine merchants. The longer the wine, the more expensive. So you can have a bottle of wine that will cost like £2,000. If it's just a day, it would probably cost £6 or what, but £2,000. And then Jesus is saying to them, pour water in the pot. And then immediately he said, draw it out. What is this? But remember, the mother said, whatever he asks you to do, no matter how stupid it looks, just do it. There are certain things that God has been putting in your mind to do, or been telling you in your sleep. You are waiting for somebody to say, bam, 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 thus says the Lord. It's not going to happen. Because it's usually in the still, small voice. Something crosses your mind. You are driving. Something crosses your mind. And you say, where did that come from? It doesn't matter. Write it down. Like what that passage said. Make the vision plain. Write it down. Write it down. So, that's the have I laid enough foundation? So you haven't got an excuse now. Because you all have seed. Who hasn't got a seed here? Put up your hand. And what is a seed? The wisdom that God has given to you, the knowledge that you have, the education, even your experiences, good or bad. You spent 2 years looking for a job. That is an experience. You finally got a job. You can write a story on that. Okay? You've gone through school. How did you succeed? That's something that you can write down. Especially those of us who are in this period now, this internet age. Is there anything that you cannot Google and find? People are making money out of nothing. So, my brother who rounded up the praise and worship, he said something about the app that somebody sold. When he was doing it, he wasn't doing it because there was something, maybe one day, God has told you one day, Apple will come and pay 960 million. No. He's just doing it from the interest. That's what he was interested in. That's what consumed him. You know the passage that says, your gift. Make room. He makes room for you. He makes you stand before kings and rulers. If you have a gift that you don't develop, that's your problem. God is not going to give money. It's not going to. We use different currencies in different countries. And God doesn't know currency. So he's not going to say, oh, this guy lives in UK, let me drop a bag of pounds in carrier bag. It won't happen. You have, and even if it happens, even if you get it, you know of stories of those who win the lottery. You know the story of those who win lotteries? Yes. On average, how long do they stay rich for?
9 months.
You're a bit pessimistic. Some of them do better than that. Some yes.
2 to 3 years. 2
to 3 years, maximum 5 years. Maximum 5 years. And you know what happened? They are worse than where they were before they won the lottery. That's it. So you might be thinking, oh, if I win the lottery, I'll be better off. No, you'll be very, very miserable. Because it's not the money. And even in all these processes that we are talking about, when I'm talking about these 12 steps that we talk about, a time comes, it's not even the money that you are after. It's what you become in the process. And it's not what you do that brings the money. It's you in the process that attract it. There are so many people, they think they want more money, okay? They do 3-4 jobs. You've heard about people like that. You don't, okay, you haven't. There are people who they change in the car from one job to another job. Yes. And how wealthy are they? This is it. Because there is a cardinal rule of wealth and finances. If you run after it, you will borrow more legs and run faster than you can catch it. And that's it. If you are running after money, it will run far away from you. It will just borrow a rocket and you can't catch it. But if you do things that attract it, left, right, and center, the money will come to you. You don't go to money. So those are the foundation job for a long time. I can't find any. And the Lord is saying to Moses, the Lord is saying to you, as He says to Moses, what is in your hand? In Moses' case, it was the rod, wasn't it? Yes. Okay? Who remember the story of the woman, the widow, they were coming to take her 2 sons? What did she have? Oil. A jar of oil. I have come to say, you're talking about managing money. And some people are saying, I did a seminar somewhere, somebody says, is this issue of managing money? And somebody asked me, I said, oh, you're talking about managing money, but what if you don't have? You don't have, but you have something to make the money. So the starting point is what is in your hands. The prophet could have just said to that woman, the widow, to just say, okay, they are coming to take your 2 sons. Let me lay hands on you. Father, these creditors, turn their eyes round. Let them be looking in the other direction. Let them not see this woman. Let them forget that this woman owes them. He could have done that. But he didn't. Because that would not solve her problem. He started an oil business. Because is that not what she did? Yes. She borrowed vessels, she borrowed vessels, and she started selling. She sold, and she paid off her creditors. She must have learned a lot from that. That if this small jar can do this one, then let me see what I can do. We never knew what happened to her, but one thing we know that the 2 sons were delivered, she's paid off all her debts, and she had enough to live on, never to borrow again. You've got what it takes. The Lord has given you talents. He has given you wisdom. And even though you think you don't have wisdom, what did He say we should do? Ask. And do you know wisdom, the way wisdom works? You don't sit down and wisdom say, ta-da-da-da-da, I'm here. No. When God gives you wisdom, He expects you to start and do something. If you might do the first one, if it fails, you say, I don't think I have wisdom yet. No, you do. It's all a learning process. What is it that you have done in your life that can benefit other people? That's the starting point. We all hear about Richard Branson and everybody say he's very rich, want to be like Richard Branson or whatever. How many people know how Richard Branson started? How many people have read his book? You've read his book. Okay, I won't ask you that question. You've read his book? No. Richard Branson started very small. The first one, he did a few businesses before he got hold of the Virgin or music. He got hold of the airline. Started from school, publishing magazines and getting people to advertise in the magazine, and the magazine is free. But that didn't make him millions. But he already had that idea. And all God will give you is idea. And if you develop that idea, you will go places. I'm not saying stop praying. When you get up from praying, do something. Do something. I asked earlier, I said, how many people come with books? I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks. Wherever I go, I have my notebooks to write stuff. Because it's only one idea. Somebody might just say something, and that will be all you need. My husband says this thing, there are a million ways to become a millionaire. But you don't need all the million ways. You only need one. And you're going to have to, and what will make me million might not be the one that will make you a million. But you have to find it out. So this guy, Richard Branson, if you Google him, you'll see the story. They went to the US for something. And then they got to the airport because he was coming back. They said they've cancelled the flight. There's no flight. And he needed to be back. So he said, okay, but how do you, I was asking in the airport, so how do you get a flight? How do you get a plane? What should he do? Oh, the guy just said to him casually, oh, if you want to go today, you better charter one. And he said, but he was saying it, the guy said it in a sarcastic way. To say if you want to go today, you have to charter one, because it's not cheap to charter a flight from the US to the UK. So he just said it in a sarcastic way. If you want to go today, better charter, you have to charter a flight, charter a plane. And no, he said, okay, tell me again, how do you charter a flight? He said, oh, you pay for the pilot, you pay for the crew, you pay for everything, and this is the amount. I said, how much is it? They told him. See, that's what he did. He said, yes. So he sat down. If you know, the guy is dyslexic, but they're good dyslexia, or dyslexics, they are good in maths. That's one thing you find out. So he just sat down and calculated it. And he said, oh, he only needs about 50 people to make the money. And then he will travel free. The guy was in business. So he borrowed a carton, what do you call it? A placard, paper. And all the people that were supposed to travel in the flight with him, that was cancelled. He said to them, he said if they want to travel, say London Heathrow, this way. So amount. He added just a little bit on top of what they told him. So he didn't only travel that day, he got the people to travel, he traveled free, and he got money back. So we said when he got to Heathrow, he said, wow, he has money. He said, this is going to work. So he went to his bank, and the bank took one good look at him, saying, from student newspaper to music. So what's it got to do with airline? Just stay with what you want to do. He said, no, he will do it. I said, no. So I went to a few people until we got people who were prepared to support him. And they only supported it for about, I think he hadn't even taken off. He supported it for a couple of weeks. And so he said the first maiden flight, when he came back, the bank manager was sitting on his doorstep. They said they are pulling the carpet. They're pulling the plug. They're not supporting him anymore. So he said to them, Just give me till the weekend, till Monday. They said, no, we are doing it now, today, and it's a Friday. When people who are successful, who are rich, when they tell you their story, you will know that next time you see somebody driving a Ferrari, you won't feel envious because they've come a long way. The question I come back to you is, what are you doing for yourself? It's not going to happen in one day. It took him a few years before he became an established aircraft carrier. And then he had opposition from British Airways. That one is a legal landmark in law when you are talking about dirty gains in business. The opposition he faced with British Airways. But he's still standing. And a lot of people will travel Virgin if Virgin goes that route, no matter how much he charges, because it's a good experience. So there were other airlines at the time he started, and that's exactly what the bank said to him. The sky is saturated. There are so many, every country has its own airline. And then British Airways, and there was Laker Airways there. British Airways drove that one on the ground. And there were other ones. So you are saying to God is saying to you, do something. You say, these people already do it, these people already do it, this place is saturated. But God is saying, you do it. Because it's a specific instruction, He will give you that added grace. So that you come from a new dimension. What is different from Virgin? They travel the same, it's the same BA, Airbus 20 or a 320. It's the same thing, the same pilot. Now I know, pilot, they are like, almost like nurses. You know the way nurses there. You can work here today and tomorrow you're working in it. That's the way, so there's no permanent employer. There's no say you say I will work for these people until I die. No, you're just a pilot and you can work with any airline. So what is different from, what makes it different? Because it is because of that idea, the unique idea that God gave him. And you might think, well, he's not a Christian, he's a Christian. Do you know, we always say these things. If you look at any business book that has been written, then as a way of digression, how many people read business books here? Pastor, you need to inject your people.
I've told them.
Yes. Anybody that does not read, you charge them.
God has told them.
Yes. Now, you can employ me. I'll come and be collecting the money from them. Anybody that hasn't read, I'll collect the money.
A new business.
Yeah. Because if you don't read, you will always be an employee. If you don't read. You've heard before, readers are leaders. The idea from Socrates' days, they are all in the book. 3 books I would want you to take. Those who are writing, please write it down. The first book is the Bible. If you don't read the Bible, if you don't read anywhere, nothing in the Bible, just stick with Proverbs. Even non-believers read it. Proverbs, there are 31 chapters, isn't it? Just read 1 chapter a day. And say to yourself, from this chapter, this is one thing I have taken, and this is one thing I will practice. Proverbs, that's it, okay? That's if you don't read any other side of the Bible. I will suggest you read it. The other thing from the Bible, gather together all the parables of Jesus and read them. They are nuggets. Incidentally, all the business books, all the personal development books, all the management books in the world, I can confidently say in the world, they are based on the Bible. And they are based on the teachings of Jesus Christ.
Even motivational.
Motivational ones. They are not Christians. What they then do is that wherever Jesus or God appears, they take it out. And they put, what word did they use? They put your mind, yes? Your mind. That's the way to do it. That's it. You have to read. Even for your finances, you have to read. So that's that one. Then the second is Napoleon Hill's book. Who's heard about that? Think and Grow Rich. Okay, you need to read that. The way I read is, I pick a book and they say maybe 300 pages. And I say to myself, I want to read this book in 1 month. I divide the number of days in the month by the total pages. It makes it easier to read. So you know each day you are going to read just 3 pages. And have a notepad with you as you are reading. I don't let my book out because I write so many things on it. So if I recommend a book to you, I don't give you. You go and buy. That's your own commitment. And there are second-hand ones that you can buy for £2 or £3. So Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And then the third one is the richest man in Babylon. Some people, yes, a lot of people have problems with it because of the way it's written. The English, it's also a parable. The richest man in Babylon. Those 3 books. By the time you finish reading them, the Bible, you can't finish reading the Bible because it's a revolving one. Once you get to the end, you start taking. So those are when you're talking, in this your month, you've got 2 weeks now, you've got 2 more Sundays. And in these books I've just mentioned to you, you can finish reading them in these 2 weeks, to be honest. And all you need to do, some people will say, where do I find time to read? Let me tell you how you find time to read. You don't need to read more than maximum 30 minutes every day. 30 minutes, that's all. 30 minutes. Yes. If you read 30 minutes every day, at the end of 1 month you would have read 2 books. Those of you who travel by bus, take it on the bus, be reading it. If you are driving, those of you who drive, although I don't really recommend this, but those of you who drive, you have audio books. You can have it because it's all part of it. You still listen. But 30 minutes every day, or if it's really cumbersome for you, reduce it to 15 minutes. Even at 15 minutes every day, you finish 1 book in a month. Okay? You read these 3 books, and you come and meet me. Let me see you in 3 months' time. See if you will be the same. You can never be the same. True. You can't be the same. You can't read these proverbs, the parables of Jesus, Think and Grow Rich, and the richest man in Babylon. You read all this and you be the same. No. I dare you to read them and remain the same. You'll be walking on air. Everything you see ideas. You want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this. They'll be telling you, calm down. Do one first. That's what they'll say to you. Okay? This talk is for people who are prepared to do something. I can get you excited and you'll be jumping up and down. And you walk through the day and say, that was a good sermon. No. Because in my previous life, I was a teacher. And that's why I asked, when I go to a place, where's your notepad? This notepad is only 50p if you go to pan shop. And you put all your ideas there. Do you know? God speaks to us every single minute. Do you believe that? Yes. And if you don't write it down, it's like a vanishing ink. Your brain can't keep it for long. So if you don't write it down, you forget. And sometimes the thing He gives us is like a jigsaw puzzle. Not a jigsaw puzzle with about 100 pieces. And God gives you piece 1. And you take one good look at it and say, doesn't make sense. You throw it away. The next time He comes and gives you piece 55, and you say, this one has, because they usually have more things depending. If you throw away piece 1, by the time you get all the other pieces together, the picture is not complete. And that's why I always say to people, write it down. I even say the Bible said, write it down, put the vision down, make it plain. So that even if you don't want it, the people who read it, they can run with it. Okay? Right. So, you're saying, where is the money management? That's the question you're asking. The money management is not going to take 40 minutes to talk about. Because you only manage what you have. So I'm teaching you how to get it. The management is not the problem. By the time you finish reading these books and you acquire wealth, nobody will teach you how to manage. Because it comes as part of your training. It comes as part of your reading. Okay. So for those who already have and they want to learn how to manage, this is it. Rule of thumb for money management. Never spend more than 70% of your monthly salary on your necessities. 70%. I can hear people saying 70%, even 110 is not enough. Well, that's where you have to discipline yourself. 70%. Let me just ask you this question. How many of you have bank accounts here? How many of you get monthly statements? Or, okay, you have online ones. Yes? I'm still a paper person. You know when you go online, they say, there's a place where they say, you want to go paperless? I said, no, I don't want to go. They ask me every time you go online. I said, no, I still want my paper. Because it helps. Now, for those of us in our age group where before the online wahala started, you have, without fail, your bank statement at certain day of the month. Yes? Yes. Have you asked yourself why? You spent the money. You know what is in there, you know what is coming out. So why are they sending you bank statements every month? Who knows why?
They charge you for it.
For the personal one, they don't. For the business one, yes. But it costs them a lot to send that. But they still send it. Why? So that you can learn how to manage your money. So that every month you sit down and you look at it, what has come out and what has come in. And therefore, you plan for the next month so that this month, I did this. Next month, this one is not going to. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you. So, that's it. 70%. And then the other 30%, as Christians, you pay tithe. You save the second 10%, and you invest the third 10%. Is that clear? So when you earn £1,000 every month, as soon as the money comes, £300 goes to an account that you don't see. Okay? And the 700 stays in the account that you manage, that you use for your feeding, for your mortgage or rent, for your electricity, and all those necessities. You have to save at least 10% every month. Somebody says they don't have enough. I am sorry, you do have. Because the inland revenue, it takes your tax without whether you think you have enough or you don't, isn't it? That's what you have to do for yourself. Be like the inland revenue, your own inland revenue. 10%, whatever it is, put it aside. The other 10% that you can accumulate to invest. Somebody says, okay, 10%. So if it's £1,000, 100. How much can £100 start a business? No, £100 cannot start a business in 1 month, but in 12 months, it may, isn't it? Yeah. And my simple starting point is, people complain about the cost of electricity, the cost of water, the cost of electricity bill and gas bill. I always say to people, accumulate it and buy shares from your local electricity board, gas board. So next time, you won't complain because the dividend is coming to you, isn't it? Yes, that's how you start. You don't build Rome in 1 day. You don't build it in a year. If you look at how long you have lived, and how many years you have worked, and you see what you have in your hands. How many of you have £10,000 in their account as savings since you've been working? In fact, for most of us, it's minus, isn't it? So it's something that you have to do, and it's self-discipline. You allocate money to yourself. If you spend money on food or on clothes, decide how much. You know, there's this. If you taking a loan or if you're buying a house or whatever, they always say income and expenditure. The bank always asks, why do you think they do? Because you have to keep an eye on your money. Otherwise, it goes haywire. Okay? So, in a nutshell, that's how. You budget. You budget. When now it's just me and my husband at home, all the children have gone. When I was raising the children, that's what we have to do, menu. And I take lists for shopping. So even if there is a beautiful thing that they say buy one get 10 free, I won't buy it because it's not on my list. So you look at your menu. What are you cooking for supper today? If it's pasta, or if it's rice, or if it's potato or amala, you're not going to buy something else. Those are part of money management. If you want to, like I said, I can send you a list of my presentation, and you look over it over and over again. But one thing I want to say to you, if you are serious about money management, if you are serious about getting wealthy, if you are serious about living this life of hand-to-mouth living, you have to be prepared to read. And you have to be prepared to discipline yourself. You don't have to sleep for 24 hours a day. 8 hours is enough. And use the other ones effectively. It's a nutshell that I can't do much in 40 minutes. Because usually when I do seminars or workshops, it's like a whole day. But I hope you have gotten enough. For those of you, how many people wrote down things? Good. So next time, when I see you, I will ask you, how many of these things you're putting into practice? Yes? That's how teachers behave. And if you don't put it into practice, I give you 1 month. Praise the Lord. The Bible is full of nuggets, if we can just read it. The non-Christians, they don't call it their Bible, they call it something else. But they follow the principles. That's why you see somebody who is not a Christian, who cursed God. He cursed God. He says there's no God, doesn't believe in God. But he's so wealthy. And you who calls upon Jesus every day, you go with a begging bowl to them. You know why? The principles of God, they value it and they follow it step by step. But Christians, we love God, but we don't care about His commandments. That's why we are where we are. I just pray that what you have heard today will not stand as a judgment against you, but that rather you will put it into practice and it will take you to the next level. So that, like God said, abundant life will be yours. You will not live and borrow. Amen. You will lend to many nations. Amen. In the name of Jesus. Amen. So I don't know if you have questions. If anybody have questions, is my time up?
I think we can use the question time. I mean the time allocated for questions to cover some. Because or if you have questions, please, so that she can. Because she only talked about one.
Yeah. No, the 12, I can't do the 12. The 12 is a 12-week program. It's a 12-week program, yes. So this is what I was saying earlier. You want me to go through?
Yeah, if you have questions.
If you have questions, just write it down and bring it to me. Questions?
I have questions, but if you don't have much questions, we can go to.
Okay, now I talked about sources of income, okay? Because like I said, you can't manage what you don't have. So what are your sources of income? I touched briefly on this one. You have your job, you have your career, you have your profession, you have your business. There are people who have careers, who have jobs, and they still do business on the side. Why? Because you need multiple streams of income. So that if one stream dries up, you have something else to hold on to. So you're not like those people when they say I think who just recently announced redundancies. One company, I've forgotten. He said there's going to be a lot of redundancy, and then people start having palpitation. Because they say, is it Asda? Asda, yes, Asda. Because last year they didn't make that much profit. So this year they're going to make a lot of redundancies. And the people are already panicking. But if you have multiple streams of income, if Asda say they are closing, you're just looking for the redundancy payment to put it into something, isn't it? And then you are free. But I just said this to my husband a couple of days ago. I said, it just suddenly occurred to me that the education that we get there is a bad education. This is education that makes you want to go to university and all you come out is start looking for a job. When you should be an employer. Do you know? That's what it should be. Okay. So then for people who say, well, I don't know how to start a business, I don't know what to do, increase your ability to earn. If you don't like what you are earning now, go for more courses. Go and read books. Do you know, in education, if you copy other people, that's fraud. Yeah? You can even fail. But in business, if you don't copy, you are fraud. You will fail. If you don't copy. And also, there's nothing that is new under the sun. That's what the Bible said. People just take somebody's idea, tweak it a little bit. Have you not seen Apple computers? How is Apple computer different from this one? I have one there. The only reason they have it is that they just put Apple's design at the back. Everything inside is the same, and I don't even like that one.
Same company makes the two.
Exactly. I didn't even know that. There's nothing new under the sun. You have seen Kia car. You have seen Mercedes. You have seen Hyundai. Is it not 4 wheels?
Yeah.
It's not steering. Has any of them got 2 steerings or 3 steerings? Is anyone different? Does anyone fly in the air? No, it's the same thing. Whatever idea you have, just pick it, tweak it a little bit, put your name on it, and that's it. Your current activity, is it rewarding you? Is it bringing in more than you spend? If not, you need to do something about it. This one is budgeting. I'll just go through quickly. Okay. Roadmap for sensible money management. Why? You set goals. Set your financial goal. You say to yourself, in 6 months' time, I'm not going to use my overdraft. How? Because you would have earned enough to make sure that no overdraft. You're not going into it. You limit your credit. Some people ask me a credit card or no credit card. We just say credit card is good, but you don't live on credit card. It's good because of the protection it gives. If you're going to be paying monthly, in minimum payment every month, don't use credit card because it's bad. But if you are prepared to pay off every time you get the statement, it's good. Okay? Avoid impulse purchase. This one is usually for women, not for men. I don't think men do. I don't know, maybe there are men who do impulse purchase. The way to do this is set yourself, have yourself, as I say those days, we have pocket money. You understand? Have pocket money, even though you earn a fat salary, give yourself a pocket money. And once that pocket money finishes, stop. Don't spend. Then avoid the 95% and be part of the 5%. Who knows what this thing is, this 95 and 5%? Who knows? Okay, briefly. Do you know 5% of the population own or control 95% of the wealth? And the 95%, they are the one that whinge. They just whinge. All these rich people, they talk about rich people. And I always say, come and stand with a rich man and see what he does. Some of you won't do it. The 95%, they are the ones that live on credit card. They are the ones that live on overdraft. They are the ones that spend. A rich man will not take money from credit card to go and spend on clothes. No. Somebody was talking about, what's this richest man, Warren Beatty? Is it? No? Yeah, Warren Buffett. The car he had, I'm not saying it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it. The sew in where I come from, we have a saying that you sew your dress according to your size. No, you can't. Because if you are a size 20 and you have a 1 yard cloth, it's not going to fit. You just sew your cloth or your dress according to the cloth that you have. Okay? He still drives this old, whatever they call it, but that's his own. But the guy is a multi-billionaire. And have you not seen Richard Branson? Richard Branson, by the way, is my favorite person, my husband knows. He's not in competition with him, but I just like him. Have you not seen Richard Branson? Has anybody ever seen him with a tie? No. The guy is on a flip-flop with white shirt and that's it. Doesn't take himself seriously at all. Just like that. Well, us, we have nothing in the account. We will wear all this bling-bling. It has to be gold chain and gold suit with gold shoe, with crocodile shoe. I'm not saying it's wrong. If you can afford it, please go ahead. I'm not saying it's wrong. The 5%, do you know who are those in the 5% group? The employers, the business people, the self-employed, the investors. They are the people. There's hardly any employed person in the 5% group. So if you want to move from being in the 95 to the 5, go and find yourself the thing that God has called you to do and do it. Get out of debt. Get out of debt, stop borrowing to live on, okay? And then also provide for God's work. So this is what the budgeting I was explaining earlier, the 70-30 rule. If you remember nothing from this because you haven't written it down, this is something you should remember. 70-30, and it's allocated as like this. The tithe, the investment, 10% savings, you pay yourself. That pay yourself. I'm not saying pay yourself and spend 10% of your salary every month because you have to spend it. No, you don't need to. You don't spend it. Okay? So 70% to live on your necessities. Okay? I hope you can remember that 70-30. If you forget, bring me. To define income versus expenses. So that's why you budget, so that you know what is income and what is expenses. It helps you to achieve goals and detect problems, so that if you see month 1, it was minus 10, and then month 2 is minus 50. What are you thinking? What's going to happen in month 3? It will going to be minus 100. So you have to work on it. And then you solve all but this won't solve all your money problems, but it will help you focus your mind. Okay? Use it itself, not balance itself. So basically, it's you that will have to operate it. Having it doesn't work itself. If you have a car, park it in the driveway, polish it, put fuel in it. It's not going to go anywhere. Somebody has to go and drive it. It's the same thing with your finances. So pay yourself first, the 10%, how, what, when. Usually you have a savings account. In this country, the starting point is your tax efficient savings. Who knows that? ISA. You finish your ISA, 15,240. It was last year. I think this year is 20,000, is it? Yes. Okay. So you pay that first. Don't have any savings account when you haven't completely exhausted your ISA allowance. You're wasting time because you'll be paying tax on all the other one. Okay? So different types of savings and the different level of returns. In the workshop, what I do is that once I do this savings, once it's reached a particular level, you can invest it in something else that will yield far, far more. Okay? Borrowing and debt. They have the good, the bad, and the ugly one. Who knows the good debt to have? Mortgage? Yeah? Because that one we appreciate. The bad one, they are the loan. The bad, but they might serve a useful purpose. The ugly ones are the credit card for consumer things. Okay? So buy now, pay later. I was shocked because I work with, I think, two extremes in my legal work. I work with high net worth people who have a lot of money, and I sometimes get involved in repossessions when they are repossessing people's houses because they can't pay. So I'm in both ends. And I come in the repossession part, I found that I never knew what this was. This payday loan. I never understood what payday loan was. Does anybody know what payday loan is? Okay, please stay away from it. Yes, please stay away from it. So payday loan, for those who don't know, is where people say they start to work on the 1st, and by the 10th, the money they pay them on the 31st has finished. So they don't go to all these payday loans. So they take the loan, their salary for that month, they take it as a loan. So when just listen to this logic. So when the salary comes, they will pay it, but they are paying it plus interest. And the highest for credit card, APR, is about 39. There's some that are 99, depending on how bad your credit is. But for payday loan, it's over 3,000 APR until the government start cracking down on them. Wonga. You people have heard of Wonga.
Yeah.
Those are the things they were doing. 50,000 APR percent. So this person he earns £1,000 a month. So he goes and takes a loan for maybe 800. Yes? And they say the interest is about 210 or so. So by the time the money comes, he has nothing. So he has to pay it. So what happens? He goes back again. That's what happens. So stay away from it. Okay? And then you have the payday loan, consolidation loan. At the time it was good, but you have to be careful, shop around. Second charge and mortgages, they are the best because the rate is low and it's on a property that will increase in value. Right, so this is what they're making a lot of money. So the consumer people, the lenders, they are scrambling to give you money. So please, like that first Timothy said, I think I can't remember what the person said. It will nobody, nothing except love. Okay? So try and work on your wealth creation and lending. You can borrow to buy a property. You can borrow to start a business with reason. Okay? Don't borrow to buy depreciating things. Don't, please. Okay, tax laws. Everybody, those who are in business or even those who are employed, you know the taxation here. I do this when I'm dealing with high net worth people, looking at what tax is compulsory in this country and which one is not. There is not every tax that you have to pay in this country. There are some taxation like inheritance tax. You don't have to pay it. It's not a compulsory tax. Okay, but you have to plan your estate properly. And that one is 40%, whether you think you are a pauper or a rich person. Okay? So you take advantage of it. You get gifts a lifetime. So for those who want to relinquish, if they have enough, they want to benefit their children or their loved ones. So you can give some money in your lifetime and you don't pay any tax on it if you survive 7 years. There's the limited company because they usually tax at a different level and different rates. You have annual allowance, so it's not everything that you earn that you pay income tax on. So the first whatever amount is tax free. Okay, so you see the picture there is very. If you don't plan your life properly, that's what the Inland Revenue does to you. Every penny they get it off you. Okay, so the reserves. As part of that circle, the rule of thumb is to be able to save 3 to 6 months income. That's we're talking about saving 10%. So you should be able to have a reserve account where, so if, say for instance, you earn £1,000 a month, you should have between £3,000 and £6,000 in your account as savings for something if anything happens. you need to buy a washing machine or anything breaks down, urgent matter. Help family short term. If you have a family who is in need, you can say, okay, I can give you £1,000 just to tide you over. We also help you to avoid forced sale of investment. So if you've been building up shares, like I was talking earlier, buying shares little by little from in your gas company or water company, when you need money, you don't want to go and sell it because you might sell it at a time when the price is down. Okay, so retirement planning. I know for some of us, it's that retirement. It comes round very quickly. This is the survey. This is a year in, year out. This is a survey that has stood the test of time. At 65, what is your income? I think that's the thing you need to start. If you think you are struggling financially now, when you come to retirement, it's worse. I don't know, this was in Manchester a couple of years ago. They did a program on a couple who were in their 70s. They both retired, they're on state pension, they can't afford to heat their homes. And it was cold. But you know, once you turn 65 in this country, they give you a bus pass, free bus pass, you can go anywhere. And because they couldn't heat their home during the day, what do? They go on the bus. They have no place in mind, no destination. These are people who have, well, they said they've worked, I don't know. And they will go on the bus. When everybody is going out in the morning at 9 o'clock, they hop on the bus. And they will go from morning till 6 o'clock. They just go in. They hop from one bus to another. And they will go to a soup kitchen, they get a free soup, and they go on the bus again. Until 6 p.m. they go home. Because they can only afford to heat their home for 1 hour in the evening. Do you want to live your life like that? No. If the answer is no, you start now. Okay? Because I'm thinking by the time I retire, the state benefit will probably become. Even now, the house that you have there, they want to take a little bit out of it in care home. Okay? So this is it. It said 54% of people, 54%, nearly half, they are on state pension. 5% of those who are over that retirement age are still working. Now there are those who say, I'm young, why should I stop working? That's not the one we're talking about. These ones, they have to work. Otherwise, they'll be like that couple. Okay? And then 36% are dead. There's nothing they can do about that. And then 5%. You remember I talked about the 95 and the 5% group? The 5%, they are financially independent. They don't need the state, they don't need anybody, they don't need to work. But these are people who are self-employed. They are in their business, whatever it is. So you need to start planning yours today. Okay? This is the starting point. You have a 2 to 5 year plan. 2 to 5 year plan. For those of you who've heard about personal development, you know there is a short term, there's the medium term, and there's the long term goal. So you start. Things don't happen overnight. And sometimes when you start, you will struggle because the flesh is so indisciplined. He doesn't like to be disciplined. He will scream. You say, no, I will only shop once a week. By Tuesday, everything is finished. If that's the case, put everybody on a fast. 2, one thing, you'll slim down. Second, you don't have to pay for gym membership. You'll be very healthy. Okay? Put everybody on a fast. Set plan and strategy to be debt-free. Okay? This one, I go into details during my seminar because there are some debts that are good that you need to keep. There are those that are bad that you need to get rid of. Okay? Sometimes when you are debt-free, the other everybody is just rubbing his hands and looking at you and smiling. See, just waiting to get his hands on you. Okay, so some of them need to. And then have a yearly goal and review. I was talking about my book, the notes I keep. It's so important. You know, from January, when you start writing down things, as the Lord is speaking to you, maybe during your quiet time, things are happening. When you go back in like quarterly review of your notes, you find the things that God spoke to you about in January that you haven't put into practice. And you sort of thinking, when did this happen? And another thing, your dreams. How many people dream here? How many people write it down? Yes, you write your dreams down. And you review, because there are certain things that God showed you might be going to. I've seen this thing before, I can't remember, but it's a dream. And you need to act on it, okay? So you do a quarterly review, you do a half-yearly review, and you do a yearly review, okay? Short, medium, and long-term goals. Vehicles, you have investments, you have savings, you have properties, you have business assets. Now, when we talk about vehicles, I said earlier, what is good for me might not be good for you, because we have different temperaments. I might go into property and be very successful. You might go into it, it will not work. But you have to study. It doesn't matter how good I am today. I can never be a surgeon. It's not a curse. I can't hospital. I can't do patients. It doesn't matter how much I pray, because I haven't been trained. I didn't go to medical school. I didn't do any house whatever job or whatever. So I have no skill in that area. So if you put a patient before me, the person is already dead before I get there, because I don't know what to do. Okay? But if it's anything that is legal and you want me to talk about it, and because I am so excited about law, I can talk to you until Jesus returns without blinking. Do you get that? So, if you want to get involved in investments, study. Is it Peter that said it? Study to show yourself approved. Approved. You don't study halfway, because you will not be approved. So, if you are going to do investments, say property, read all the books. In my radio show, I was giving away the property coach. And a lot of people ran to request for it. And they read and say, oh, what am I supposed to do? They say, read it, do what it says. It's as simple. So if you want to do any investment, like we're talking about shares earlier, go and read about shares. Find out what you want to do and read about it, okay? If it's a business you want to start, there are so many courses and books on starting a business. Estate planning and wills. I teach people how to create, how to preserve, and how to distribute. The distribution is a succession planning. When you look at people, when you hear about people who have lived for many years and they pass on their estate, we talk about Diana's family home. It's been that estate has been in existence for, let's say, 400 years or 300 years, and they pass it on, and they pass it on, and they pass it on. It's like the royal family. When a first son is born, they groom that person for the throne, isn't it? That's what we all need to be doing. Find your children, the ones that are interested, groom them, and then pass it on. Let them groom their own and pass it on. So that's how it stays in the family. This is something that we don't like to talk about. You know, Christians, how many people want to go to heaven here? Everybody, all Christians want to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And unless like you are Enoch, you have to taste death. And nobody actually knows what happened to Enoch. We just say God took him. Yeah. We don't know how God took him. Okay? In this country, this part is a very touchy part. Estate planning and wills. For in this country, if you are 18 and above, and God forbid, no, let me not say God forbid, you live the long life in your old age, you say to God, God, this is how long I want to live on earth. And you reach, thank you. Time is up. I stop. I'm a man, a woman under authority. But there are so many information that you can get from the internet and from reading, and even God speaking to you. So I just pray that the little that we have touched, this is just scratching the surface. It's not even the iceberg. We haven't even reached the iceberg. It's just scratching the surface. I just pray that the Lord God Almighty, the one who perfects everything, will teach you by himself. Praise the Lord.
For more information about this message, contact the Grateful Church RCCG Manchester. Telephone numbers 074-628-60204 or 077-272-02138. Or visit our website at www.gratefulchurch.org.uk. The Grateful Church, appreciating God, loving people, and raising godly role models.